maybe a month or two, we know that now COVID pandemic has eased out, and we hope so that the another variant should not pop up. So let's hope for the best, and very soon we should be having offline interaction as well. Meanwhile, Dr. Vipul Yagnik is joining. We will be having some introduction about the today's topic, that is how to select a journal for publication or how to go for citation based, because there are multiple search engine which are available, that is PubMed, and you want many of us go through the Google as well, and index PubMed would be more important. So what is required in today's era, particularly by PG residents, that it is now compulsory to have presentation as in one of the national conference as well as publication. So you should be able to know which is your topic, and where are you going to target. As per the target audience, there you would be having index journals, then you would be having non-index journal. What is impact factor for that journal, and higher the impact factor, it would be better. At the same time, there are journal which are by for the years as reputed journals like Lancet or NEGM or World Journal of Surgeries. Then same thing, we have non-index journals also, because case reports are not being taken by most of the very reputed and index journals. So that is called as open access journals, which is having a widespread available article in detail, that is full text detailed article to most of the people. So that is open access journal. And where the indexed and very reputed journals will not be giving you the full text articles available. So the what you can search through is the keywords, and then we will be having abstract, which is just a small format of the whole article, but the full text article may not be available in that journal, and you will require subscription to take, or either you need to pay for that article to have full text. And in open access you have available full text articles. But case reports, yes, it has a value for as long as it gives a message to the reader, like what is you are going to give through that case, is either there is a message in terms of management, message in terms of diagnostic approach, message in terms of new surgical methodology, because it is just done one time. But more importantly, it is the case series which has more value than the article. Case report, single case report. Then comes the randomized control trial, which has been taken as highest of importance, that is RCT. RCT has single blind RCT, double blind RCT, then comes multicentric RCT, and then above that comes the whole kind of review of literature and consensus guidelines based on multicentric RCTs, which is taken as like a Cochrane meta-analysis kind of thing. So meta-analysis is on top, then comes multicentric RTC. Below that would be a single center RCT, double blind RCT. Beneath it would be which is single blind RCT, then case series, and then comes the case report. This is how the chronology of the publication, as far as importance of that publication is concerned. If we have any query regarding this, because the faculty is going to join in couple of minutes because of some technical issues, if we can have any issues, we will be right now can take up. Else, while Dr. Vipul Yagnik joins and he will deliver the lecture, we will continue to have queries in our chat box. Dr. Sanjay as well as Dr. Gunwant Rathod sir and Dr. Apurva Shah sir will be going through the chat box continuously, and at the end of the lecture we can have a very good interaction regarding this very important topic of how to go for publication and how the keywords would be important to search for the existing publication, or when you are going for publication, how to select that keywords. Any input from Purva Saha sir or Rathod sir?
Good morning, Rathod sahib.
Good morning, Apurva. Good morning, Sanjay.
Sir, good morning. Yes.
Sorry, sir. Dr. Vipul Yagnik is facing some technical difficulties, so he has asked for 5 more minutes.
Yes, then, Vipul told me he is doing some setup work. He will join.
Yeah. So
till then,
meanwhile,
Sanjay.
Yeah, sir. Meanwhile, Sanjay has given a basic format of how to approach any journal. What are the keywords? If you can throw some light on the same topic. Meanwhile, if somebody has any questions, he'll write in the chat box and we can continue with the same. Your input, sir. Rathod sahib.
Yes, Sanjay, the topic is very good. Selecting a journal is a very important task when we are trying to publish something, right? As our faculties are great need of making publications, because we are getting very less number of publications from our association so far as our chapter is concerned. As John McCarthy has given very good directive that if you have to publish or you have to perish. So publication is very important and integral part of our academic career. And Dr. Vipul Yagnik is very good faculty, learned faculty, and doing a lot of work on publication. He is attached to various international journals. He has made more than 100 publications in the PubMed, and he has authored a book also. So I think we have a very good faculty today, and we will be discussing the topic in length and breadth. And meanwhile, if the participants are having any questions,
joined, sir.
They can produce their questions in the chat box, and at the end we will take up the question, and we will do the discussion on various issues related to journals and publications. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, Vipul bhai.
So carry on,
good morning, sir.
Sanjay.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Sanjay, please continue.
Ji. Good morning, Dr. Vipul Yagnik, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. So we'll start this session today on Sunday. That would be the very first series of academic series by Association of Surgeons, Association of Ahmedabad Surgeons, and BJ Medical College. Dr. Vipul Yagnik is a director and consultant surgeon at Nishta Surgical Hospital, Patan, and he is attached as editor-in-chief in Global Journal of Medical, Pharmaceutical, and Biomedical Update. He is into the editorial board of clinical and experimental gastroenterology and clinics and practice, and associate editor of American Journal of Biopharmacy and Pharmaceutical Science. He has more than 140 publications in various journals in the field of surgery. And he is also an author of Fundamentals of Operative Surgery, which is very important for undergraduate as well as postgraduate students. So I would like to invite Dr. Vipul Yagnik, sir, for today's talk, which is on how to target or select a journal for publication. Almost like a need of an hour for all PG students as well as faculty. Yes, Dr. Vipul Yagnik, sir, it's all yours.
First of all, sir, I am very sorry for delaying this meeting because of some network issue.
Yeah, it do happen.
This has happened.
Yeah.
I'll start as you have given very nice introduction. I'm trying to share the screen, sir.
Are you able to share the screen, sir?
Sir, I'm trying.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Getting the option.
Yeah.
Kashvi,
Option is not coming here. But sharing the screen.
Bottom line, bottom panel should have that share screen.
yeah, share screen. And sir, I think you have been made a co-host.
Co-host.
Sir, we've made him the co-host. So
Okay.
you can share your screen.
Fine. વિપુલભાઈ નીચે પાર્ટિસિપન્ટ ની બાજુમાં શેર સ્ક્રીન નું આવવું જોઈએ ઓપ્શન.
Green.
Option આવે છે સર. Share screen નો option આવે છે.
Yeah.
Open the PPT simultaneously. You have
Yeah.
to keep it open and then
Keep it open and then share this.
Okay. Okay.
so once you open the share screen option, there will be a pop-up with multiple options to select from.
Basically, you can't see the screen. Screen option. You can't wear a white beard. See, it will just be a plain black.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
we are
yeah.
getting it now.
It's opening up.
Able to see the
Yeah.
screen?
It's coming up.
It's a blank screen. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
It's a
We can
blank
see the
screen.
reel, but it is a blank screen.
Now you need to open. You need to open the PPT.
Yes. Share.
Able to see the screen?
Yes.
Can you able to see?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just make it, sir, full screen. Yeah.
Yeah, I have made it full screen.
Okay.
Perfect. Continue, sir.
Perfect, na?
Yeah.
Okay, so our today's topic is how to target or select a journal for publication. As all we are aware that NMC has made it mandatory to publish few research publications for promotion of teachers in medical college. So I have seen that many of us do not have idea about how to select a journal for publication. So the meaning of today's topic.
Very useful. We can watch this.
Varsatha's iPad, please mute yourself. Anil, mute everybody else. Continue, sir.
Okay. So NMC has recommended there are few research publications to be published in few of the indexing agencies journal. The NMC recommendation are journal has to be indexed in either Medline, PubMed Central, Citation Index, Science Citation Index Expanded, Scopus, Embase, and DOAJ. DOAJ is basically for open access journal only. The full form of DOAJ is Directory of Open Access Journal. Many a time I have been asked by few of my colleagues or few of my friends that is your journal index. So from that I can make out there is some misunderstanding or misinterpretation about the index journal. Actually, what is index journal? Index journal is basically there are few databases, and if journal is listed in that databases, it is considered as index journal. And index journal indicate or reflects the quality of the journal depending on in which indexing agency the journal is indexed. So as NMC has recommended few of the indexing agency, and I can make out that all the indexing agency recommended by NMC are very reputed, and on that basis, if your article is published in that index journal, then your paper will have a value. Initial recommendation by MCI that includes Index Copernicus and few other agencies that are not properly indexing agencies. So Index Copernicus value has no meaning in scientific literature. Uh, First of all, we will see how to decide or how to judge quality of the journal. So there are few parameters that can help us to identify the quality of journal. The first parameter comes is impact factor. Second parameter is site score. Third parameter is SJR ranking. And fourth parameter is indexing of the journal. So impact factor is given by Web of Science or Clarivate Analytics company. That is the most appropriate parameters to judge the quality of the journal. Suppose if you heard that this journal is having impact factor 1, some journal is having 5, even some journal is having impact factor around 500 also. So that is given by the journal citation report. Clarivate analytic report is there. There are few other agencies are also there which gives impact factor, but it has no value. Other parameter is site score. Site score is basically is given by Scopus. So those journal which are indexed in Scopus will get a site score. But to calculate the impact factor and to calculate the site score, it requires minimum 3 years of publication. And on that basis, they will give a number. SJR ranking again is from Scopus. That is full form is Chemico Journal ranking, and they will divide journal into 4 variety. So that we will discuss later. And indexing of the journal, that we have what already seen, that Medline, PubMed, Scopus, Embassy, these all are the indexing of the journal. So first we will see impact factor. What is impact factor? So impact factor is basically reflect the average number of citation to the article published, and it requires minimum 3 years to calculate the impact factor, and journal citation report will give you what is the impact factor of the journal based on the article published in previous 2 years. That means if you want to calculate an impact factor for a particular year, suppose if you want to calculate impact factor for 2021, then you have to consider the article published in previous 2 years, means 2019 and 2020. So you have to calculate the citation received in 1920, and you have to calculate the article published in 1920. When you divide these two, you will get an impact factor. Suppose some journal is having impact factor of 5, that means the on an average article published in that particular journal during that previous 2 years have been cited 5 times. That doesn't means each and every article is cited 5 times. Some article may be cited 0 time also. But if some article will cited 10 times, then that will neutralize the effect, and that will give an impact factor of 5. Where this impact factor is used? Impact factor is used by the authors. Author uses it to select the journal from where to publish the article. Librarians use it to collect the high impact journal, and academic department is used to promote the faculties in the department based on the article published in impact factor journal. Another parameter is site score. That site score is given by Citus Scopus. The main difference between site score and impact factor is site score count based on the 3 years article. So that will count the citation received within 3 years, and that will divided by the total number of article published within that 3 years. Schemico journal ranking. Schemico journal ranking is again given by Scopus, and that in addition to the citations received by the articles, Schemico journal ranking also considered from where the citation is coming. So from where, whether it is coming from the prestigious journal or whether it is coming from the predatory journals. So Schemico journal ranking count all these two things. So Schemico journal ranking basically divide journal into 4 category. They will give a Q1, Q2, Q3 and Q4 category. There are 4 categories. So Q1 category is the top 25% of the journal listed in Scopus. Q2 stand for by 25 to 50% of journal top. Q3 stand for by 50 to 75% of the top journal in the Scopus. And Q4 stand for more than 75% of the journal. So when you are publishing and you look at the SJR, if the journal is in Q4 category, you need to be very careful while publishing in that type of journal, because it's like a double-edged sword. If you publish in a Q4 and if journal is not maintaining the quality of the article, very likely chance that it can be delisted from the Scopus. Or if journal publishes and perform consistently, there is a chance that Q4 can be upgraded to Q2 or Q3. So these are various popular indexing agency. Clarivate Analytics is the first that will give three indexes: ESCI, SCI, SCI expanded. ESI stand for Emerging Source Citation Index. SCI stand for Science Citation Index, and SCIE stand for Science Citation Index expanded. Basically, before Web of Science, it is with the Thomson Reuters company, and it is given by the ISI. So in Thomson Reuters, there is no indexing like ESCI. Now what they used to do is, all the journal which comes to the Web of Science, first they used to index in ESCI, and based on their performance, they will automatically upgrade the journal to Science Citation Index and Science Citation Index expanded. Another indexing database important is Elsevier, and that Elsevier has a two indexing agency. One is Embase and other one is Scopus. Scopus has got a more reputation as compared to Embase. DOAJ is Directory of Open Access Journal that index only open access journal, not subscription based journal. Another important agency is Medline, PubMed and PubMed Central. So these all are database of National Library of Medicine, USA. So Medline is the oldest one. So Medline consists of almost more than 28 million citations that established in the 1960. So if you want to index your journal in Medline, is a tough procedure. First you have to apply to the NIH advisory committee, and then their committee will select whether your journal is qualify the criteria to be indexed in Medline or not. PubMed, in addition to the Medline article, PubMed also consists of few of the ahead of print article citations, some of the NIH funded researchers article citation, some of citations, and PubMed Central is basically for the full text article. If you see PubMed Central, you will find all the full text article in the PubMed Central. Now, very important thing for researcher is to know about the predatory journals, because I have seen many of our Indian authors are, because of they wants to publish fast, they will get trapped in the scam of predatory journals. Basically, predatory journals are those journals which publishes article without proper peer review process, and the main aim of predatory journal is to earn the money, is not for the advancement of the science. So when you are publishing in that predatory journal, your research will go into vain. So be careful while publishing in the predatory journals. So how to identify whether journal is predatory journals or is a standard scientific journal? So first thing you can see is, you can see where the journal is indexed. If suppose journal is indexed in PubMed, journal is indexed in Web of Science, if journal is indexed in Scopus, they are not predatory journal. Second important criteria is open access model. If you are publishing your article in open access model, you have to be very careful. One very important difference is, all the predatory journals are open access journal, but on other hand, all open access journal are not predatory. So while publishing, you have to, again, when you are publishing in an open access model, you have to look at the indexing, where the journal is indexed. Another minor criteria which gives idea about whether journal is predatory or not is very small editorial board. Suppose single publisher is coming with many new journals. Some journal mentions available sole policy for the issue. If you look at the website of the journal also, you can make out poor website is an indication for predatory journal. If suppose your title does not match with the editorial board, if your journal title is international or national, but if you look at the editorial board, all the editorial members are belong to the same category. Some fundamental errors in the title, and if journal is publishing the article which is not in the scope of the journal, so deviation of the content from the title and scope of the journal also gives you insight about whether journal is predatory or not. Suppose some journal has a scope of surgery and the journal publishes article on the medicine, you can make out that journal is not proper. So these are the few criteria on which basis you can decide whether journal is predatory or standard journal. So Jeffrey Bell is a person who first established and who first defined the criteria for predatory journal. So if you see on the website, you will find Bell list of predatory publishers. So Bell list is basically include potential, possible and probable predatory scholarly open access publisher, and that is available on the website. Now idea is how to choose the journal. So depending on your article, what is the scope of the journal? If your article is matching with the scope of the journal, you can publish. Second thing is you can see whether journal is open access, subscription based or hybrid journal. Open access journal are those journal where the article is freely readable, freely downloadable and freely distributable. Subscription based journal are those journal in which reader can only access abstract, not full text. To access the full text, reader has to pay the charge. Hybrid journal are those include both open access option as well as subscription based option. So my idea is somebody has to pay. Either it is author pay or it is a reader pay. If it is an open access journal, author has to pay. If it is a subscription based journal, reader has to pay the access the full text article. So how will you decide quality of the journal? Quality of the journal can be decided by the quality of the editorial board member and publisher, as well as impact factor, indexing of the journal and other factors. So far we have seen about something which decide quality of the journal like impact factor, site score, Schemigo journal ranking, and indexing of the journal. So beyond that, what qualifies the quality journals, or what are the other quality parameters that you have to look, because each and every journal doesn't have an impact factor. Suppose some new journal is established, the new journal may not fulfill that criteria to be indexed in Science Citation Index, not filling criteria to be indexed in Scopus. So that type of journal will not get impact factor, will not have SJR ranking, or will not have a site score. So how will you decide if suppose journal is new? So how will you decide the quality? So quality is based on, first thing we look at the publisher. Second thing, you can look at the scope and aim of the journal. Third thing, you can look for the quality of the editorial board. Fourth thing, you see the website of the journal and found how nicely, how clear and precise the submission guideline mentioned. When you submit the article, whether you are receiving prompt acknowledgement of the submission or not, what is their editorial review process, whether they are able to provide justification for their decision, whether journal statistics has been mentioned on the website, or if there is any article processing charge, whether they have mentioned it clearly or not. So these are the some things you can see on the website and decide whether this journal qualify for the quality or not. So these are the few of the important and reputed publishers, like you all know Springer, Elsevier, Wiley Blackwell, Taylor Francis, MDPI and Scientific Scholar. These are reputed publishers. Second thing is you can look at the scope of the journal. So I would like to broadly classify journal in two categories. One is broad category versus specialty journal. So if you see my journal, Global Journal of Medical, Pharmaceutical and Biomedical Update, in the last line it is clearly mentioned that it publishes article in the field of biomedicine, surgery and pharmacology. Means this journal will not accept article related to the dentistry, not accept article related to any other pathy. On other hand, if you see ANZ Journal of Surgery, it has clearly mentioned that they will publish article in the field of surgery and related discipline. So this is what the difference between broad category and specialty journal. So when you are trying to select your journal article for publications, then you need to see the scope of the journal first, and then you can submit. Second thing is editorial board, reputation of the editorial board. So editorial board member are basically authors, So how will you see whether this journal has a reputed editorial board or not? You can see here I have shown two editorial board members from my journal. You can see H index of 90 for Dr. Okezi. He is also as editor-in-chief along with me. And you can see associate editor Thisan Boron. His H index is 37. Basically, in scientific community, we consider if H index is more than 15, is considered to be a reputed H index. So the editorial board members are reputed, that will qualify for the quality. Second thing you can see is RG score. RG score is basically ResearchGate score. ResearchGate score is basically a database. They are company. So what you need to do in ResearchGate is you have to download the app or you can log in from the website and you can submit your article there and they will manage that database. So depending on the article you submitted, depending on the citation received by your article, depending on the followers you are having, depending on the full text people are reading, on that basis they are giving score. So here you can see score of 43 for OKG and score of 32 for me. So 32 score will qualify that score is higher than 90% score researcher available on that particular website. Another point is submission guideline. Submission guideline should be clear and unambiguous. Means it should be clear and precise. Submission guideline is the requirement. You can see the website is opening. The journal should be very clear about the detail mentioned on the website, particularly instruction for the authors. The instruction author should be clearly mentioned everything and every detail. The journal publishes which type of article, journal following which type of guidelines, journal whether it is open access. So here you can see the guideline for instruction of author, that means that mention everything, how to start, type of manuscript, journal information, what is the editorial process, what to do for submission of the manuscript. You can see everything is mentioned clearly. Institutional review board permission is there or not, which guideline you want to follow, these are the various guidelines. Once you submit the article, what is the editorial process, how to organize your article, you can see clearly it has been mentioned everything. The study design, what reference style you should follow, what is the figure and image quality, how to submit the manuscript. Each and every detail is available on the website. Whether the journal charges for publication or not, here it is clearly mentioned that journal does not charge for submission and processing of the manuscript. So the journal should have very clear and unambiguous guideline to qualify for the quality. Another thing is, once you submit the article, if justification article cannot be rejected simply that you reject the article. You should give us some justification why the article is rejected. So here I have given two examples. First example is article is rejected, and second example is article has been given major revision. In first thing, the reviewer has raised so many queries where there was a study of 50 patients. Reviewer has raised query why only 3 patients underwent CT scan. What about the rest of the 47 patients? Reviewer was also given query that what is new from the study, whether this study is adding anything new to the literature. So on that basis, editor has seen the manuscript and found that manuscript is not suitable for that particular journal and it has been rejected. On other thing, you can see the reviewer has raised some concern about to provide the PET image, to provide the image better image quality, to provide the immunohistochemistry slide, and the editor has given decision that article can be accepted but only after major revision. So these are the justification given by Australian New Zealand of Journal of Surgery. These two are my article only. Whether journal statistics is mentioned on the website or not. So journal statistics is usually includes whether how many downloads are there from the journal, what is the average time taken from submission to first editorial decision, and what is the time taken from editorial acceptance to publication, what is the rejection rate. So that will help the author whether they want to submit their article to this journal or not. This statistics is from the clinical and experimental gastroenterology, where I am editorial board member. You can see very nice statistics. You find very less journals that give the decision within a 1 month, and also there are few journals which publishes only within 17 days from the editorial acceptance. This journal is open access journal, is a chargeable journal. Still you can see rejection rate is very high, is a 68%. Means 68% of the article
तीन
are.
वाजेची उठली मी सकाळी एक तास एक्सरसाइज.
Other thing is to be mentioned whether article processing charges are there or not. Here I have given two example. First thing you can see example of clinical and experimental gastroenterology. If you look at the charge is too high for us because it's almost 2300 US dollar. But if you see the quality of the journal is indexed in PubMed, is indexed in ESCI, is having SJR and site score, means is indexed in Scopus. So that qualifies the quality. So only on the basis of article processing charges you cannot decide whether, because this journal is charging, they are publishing article, they have a rejection rate of almost 68%. This 2300 US dollar article processing charges for the normal country, they are giving discount also. Like for India, they are giving discount 50%, and those who are third world country, very poor country, they are publishing free of cost also. So on other side, you can see the publication and processing charge. It has been mentioned that journal does not charge for the submission and processing of the manuscript, means is a free. So before publishing or before submitting your article to any journal, you first look at this thing whether the journal is chargeable or not chargeable. Now how I choose the journal? I have kept two parameter only to choosing the journal. I look at the indexing and I look at the open access policy of the journal. Rather than looking at the impact factor and site score, I will give preference to the indexing. My first preference will be Medline or PubMed Index Journal. Second preference will be PubMed Central Journal. Third preference will be Web of Science Journal, means ESCI, Science Citation Index and Science Citation Index Expanded. And lastly, I choose Scopus and Embassy. But however, it varies from person to person. I normally prefer open access journal because open access journal can be freely readable, freely downloadable. So whatever you want to convey to the audience, it can be easily conveyed. A reader has not to pay the charge. That doesn't means I am paying the charge. I have a luxury because I am editorial board member on the so many journals. So I am receiving regular invitation to publish in their journal. And normally invited article are free of cost. So till now I have not paid any journal, but my most article are open access journal because of they are invited article. I also suggest, I also advise the authors to select on the basis of indexing. So if it is indexed in a PubMed or PubMed Central or Medline, that is the base journal. After that, you can go for Web of Science and Scopus journal. Normally, if you submit the manuscript, what thing you should avoid to avoid desk rejection? Desk rejection means editorial reject article immediately without sending it to peer review. So what are the possibilities that will lead to the desk rejection? If manuscript is not preparing according to the guideline, that will lead to the desk rejection. If your grammar and syntax are very poor, if the article is out of the scope of the journal, if you have not taken ethical committee permission or institutional review board permission, your article will not be processed further. If you have not taken written informed consent from the patient, then your article will be rejected immediately without sending it to peer review. And weak methodology and inadequate literature review is also one of the reasons that leads to the desk rejection. If manuscript is submitted to any journal as an editor-in-chief or as an editorial board member, what we see in that particular manuscript? The first thing is we will scan manuscript for the plagiarism. There are lots of software are available to check the plagiarism. Most valuable software is iThanicat. iThanicat is a chargeable, but it will give you exact plagiarism idea. Depending on that, if we found significant plagiarism, then we will immediately reject the manuscript. Then we will see the scope of the journal. If the article is not meeting with the scope of the journal or out of the scope, then we will reject. Third thing is quality of the article and novelty of the article. If article is not novel, if article is not going to contribute to the existing literature, then also we will reject the article. If article is not of significance for the journal quality, then also we will reject the article. If article passes the first process of editorial review, then article will undergo peer review. So peer reviewer are the backbone for any journal. The main advantage of peer reviewer or sending article for peer review is peer review helps the editors and authors to filter out the poor quality article. Editors are all peer reviewer are also important to maintaining the integrity of the science, and it also helps in assessing the validity of the study. What are the various type of peer review? So most common peer review prefer all over the world is double blind peer review. What double blind peer review means? Author is not known to the reviewer and reviewer is also not known to the author. So that review is known as double blind peer review. Single blind peer review is reviewer is knowing to the author, but author is not known about the reviewer. That is known as single blind peer review. Open peer review is everyone is known and identified. Means author is knowing the reviewer and reviewer is knowing the author. That is the least preferred type of peer review system. So once the peer review has been completed, now it times for the decision. So how we decide? Based on the peer reviewer comments, either we can assess article straightforward if it is of very good quality, it has followed all the journal guidelines, if it fell within the scope of the journal, and if it contribute to the or adding something new to the existing literature, that article can be straightforward accepted. Another decision can be accepted with minor revision. So in that case, suppose if there is a some technical issue, some grammatical issue, So in that case, we will give accept with minor revision decision. If some article has some requirement major revision, means some statistical problem is there, if some methodology can be improved, in that case we can give accept with major revision decision. Sometimes we need to reject, so in which case we reject the article. So weak methodology, fundamentally flawed manuscript, lack of novelty, or not adding anything to the existing science, article can be rejected straightforward. So how to handle the rejection? So mainly if your article is rejected, there is no need to go into depression, because every author has this experience, including myself. Before publishing this much article, I have faced so many rejection. Particularly, one of the editorial decision was such that you have to take the help of a person who is experienced in writing English. Your English is very bad and you cannot publish that article. So first take the help of some English speaker who has experience in writing this article. But look at what stage at present I am. So if you take it positively, it's everything is possible. Rejection from a good journal, that includes constructive criticism, and you have to follow the reviewer comments, and according to reviewer comments you can revise your article and submit it to another journal. Once you follow the reviewer comments, then there is a likely chance that your article can accept it, or your article can be advised minor revision or major revision and the next journal can accept. Thank you very much, sir, for allowing me this to speak about how to select a journal.
Yes, Dr. Vipul Yagnik, it was a nice. Can we stop sharing if possible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a very nice and complete elaboration of how to decide for journal for publication. And I think you have covered it right from selecting a journal and the detail of the indexing and non-indexing, open access and peer reviewed process. And very much important for all of us to know is many times rejection is a part of your success. And as Dr. Vipul Yagnik has mentioned, that you need to think it as a constructive criticism, and if we can improvise from the whatever is being advised by the peer reviewer or editor, it will help us to improvise and go for another journal after correction. We have a couple of the question. One is how can we go around the hefty article processing charges that is required for publication? Dr.
Vipul
Vipul
bhai?
sir?
Yeah. Uh, Actually, there is no way to accept. First thing we can do is we can request the journal, whether journal can waive or not, depending on the location of our country. Like India is a middle income country, so we cannot pay that much hefty article processing charge. So what journal allow is, before submission you have to put a request that we want a waiver for article, we want a waiver 50%, 25%, or if journal can waive a full waiver. So you need to submit the abstract to the journal, and the journal will see abstract, and if they find they can give a waiver. It's possible. It's not always that journal are charging for money, right? If your article is of good quality, journal can give waiver. Second option is time to time some journals are keeping invited article. So if you receive invitation from that journal, your article will be free.
Okay. Yeah. One more question was how to publish a paper and how to do research. I think it's quite broad question, and
Yeah,
most
yeah, and
of the
we'll be coming up with one of those lectures again.
Yeah,
yeah.
we will keep another topic on that.
Rathod Sahib, are you there? Mohan bhai? I don't know.
I think Apurva sir, then we can.
Yeah. Then
can-
thank you, Vipul bhai.
Yeah.
I think we'll
Sir.
conclude then, Sanjay.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I think this was a nice elaborated presentation on how to select a journal, and we should come up with another couple of lectures on how to conduct a research and how to do, how to write article and all that, because it's a vast topic.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vipul sir, for a very good presentation.
Second
And
thing,
yes, Ji,
I would
yeah.
like to tell, if anybody help from me in writing an article, or if they want to check before submission, I am ready to help them. Right? There is no issue.
Great. I think
Definitely, sir.
that is
Thanks
one
a
of the
lot.
best help that he has already offered to most of the PG students. The major task of improvising the article before sending it to the journal will be eased off if you can take help from Dr. Vipul Yagnik, sir. Sir, concluding remarks, Apurva, sir?
No. Thank you, Vipul bhai. Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you, Rathod sahib. I think he has left. I think then we'll leave. We'll be coming up with another topic. Definitely. Sure.
Yeah.
Somebody has any way to get that PDF? Which PDF are we talking about? I don't know.
I think
Dr.
he might be
Harsharaj
talking
Patel.
about PPT.
PPT is PDF.
Yeah, I think.
If you can, I think if Dr. Vipul sir
The lecture is available on PG Masterclass YouTube channel, which we have already shared. So you can go through the same lecture if you want. You can continue with the same on the PG Masterclass channel, please. Thank you. We'll leave then. Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Yeah.